I guess we can go ahead and transition out of this Fed stuff into the SBF. Heading to the clink, as well as this hearing that he was to attend, and much to the dismay of many, he's not there. And we can kind of talk about what we've seen here over the last couple of days at this hearing. A lot of embarrassing moments, a couple of interesting moments. I've just seen some clips here and there. I know you have as well. First off, though, let's back up to the news we got a couple of days ago. I think it was Monday night. Yeah, Monday night, we officially got the notification that in the Bahamas, SBF was detained. He is going to prison. What do you think of this? I think it came to a surprise of some people that just thought he would never even see the inside of a cell. Now, we don't know what kind of treatment he's getting wherever he is. Probably lavish, as compared to other inmates. But what do you make of the arrest? And yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, I was kind of surprised when I heard that he was arrested, and then once it happened, I realized that he was scheduled to testify with, I'm not even sure who it was, maybe Congress. He was going to have testimonies that he was going to give, and the minute I heard that he had gotten arrested, I'm like, oh, they're trying to keep this kid quiet because he's probably going to, talk about Gensler and talk about all the other people that were involved heavily, with a lot of the conversations that were being had in the back rooms. So it kind of all made sense at that point. I'm not surprised now, after I sat back and looked at it. I think it's good. I mean, I really think it's good that he's been detained and getting arrested. It definitely shows that there are people looking out for, the regular investors that lost a lot of money. So it's a good thing. I think it's bullish in the sense of that, as far as some sort of regulatory things need to happen with the exchanges so that, they have more transparency on what's going on, and you can't run a $40 billion company with QuickBooks. I mean,
yeah.
That was, brought out, and that's how they did their account. They didn't have an accountant. They were using QuickBooks to use all their, to figure out their finances. That baffles me. So, yeah, no, I think it's a good thing that he's in jail. I think it's a bad thing that he didn't get to talk about some more things. Who knows? He might have beat around the bush and not really said anything like he had done in previous interviews as well. So it's hard to say what would have come out, but I would definitely like to see Gensler take some heat for this because, he definitely deserves it. They overlooked a lot of things to let this whole thing play out. And I think there was more to it. Unfortunately, the bear market, or fortunately, maybe fortunately, that it happened now rather than later when there was 60 or 70 billion involved.
And you're probably being charitable just saying that he overlooked it. I mean, it's probably something a little bit more sinister than that even, I think. But yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And it would be nice to see, some of that come to fruition and really find out all of the inner workings. We certainly never will with everything dirty that had gone on with the FTX, drug, sex party and everything that's gone on there. But what do you make of some of the highlights that you have seen the last couple of days from this hearing with Congress? Because we've seen a lot go on, obviously not actually hearing SBF speak there. What do you make of some of the things you've seen? Because we've definitely seen some really, as usual, I mean, anytime you have like these large government entities starting to talk about crypto or decentralized finance, I mean, they clearly don't understand it very much. We've already seen it from Elizabeth Warren, obviously, in the past, who has no earthly idea. And really, like, I'm not, in no way am I forgiving these people, but I mean, a lot of them are elderly. That's just kind of the decision that we have made for some reason or they have made with a lot of these people. But they have no interest. They want to protect their own pockets, obviously. And
sure.
It doesn't really benefit them that much to understand it. So what do you make from some of the scenes you've seen? And I really should find out like who some of these people are. I mean, I usually don't care, but like the guy that wants to rename crypto. I need to find out who that guy is. But anyway,
Yeah.
what do you make of some of what you've seen?
Like you had mentioned, Elizabeth Warren trying to push this one bill through to, I think it has something to do with not allowing people to custody or KYC when you self-custody your own wallets, which is crazy to me. You have now CZ coming out and saying, 99% of coins are lost when people try to self-custody. You just have all this weird stuff. Kevin O'Leary is still sticking up for SBF.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
He's in as just as deep. They paid him $15 million. They're trying to, or he's definitely getting his money's worth out of that one. So
yeah,
there's been a couple good people. This Tom Emmer, you and I spoke about this earlier. He is making some good points, but I showed you then before that he was one of the 7 or 8 representatives to take money from his from SBF's campaign or contribution, whatever it was.
Right. One of the 7 or 8 Congress members, right?
Or Congress, not represent. Yeah. Either way, whatever they are, in whatever position, So I think what happened with him is he probably got caught and had to change his tune. And now he's back on the right side, probably to save face and not go down with the rest of the bunch that could possibly go down. Just like Marty says here, there's just so many corrupt elite people that are involved with this, and the education that they need to have before having these hearings is pretty in depth. They just really don't know what they're talking about, unfortunately. So.
Right.
Kind of wish Richard Hart could go in and school them a little bit before they would
go
into their hearings and explain just, anybody that has some basics. Now, I don't want a Bitcoin maxi going in there and saying Bitcoin's the only thing that matters either, because that's not right. Yeah. You've got to give a general perspective of the overall situation of crypto and what it means to custody your own coins and what it means to put your stuff on an exchange and give up the right to hold your own coins. So yeah, it's just been a mess. And the good thing is when these guys try to push laws through, often they don't succeed the first time. Hopefully there's enough people on the other side of the aisle that can amend things and get them headed in the right direction. So that's my hope anyway.
Yeah. So Ewok, you're referring to the 8 congressmen who, so basically the 8 of them tried to stop the SEC's inquiry into FTX back in March. 5 out of the 8 received donations directly from SBF and FTX. We don't know which of those 5 it was, but the majority of this group did. That would be Tom Emmer, who, again, as we talked about, seems to be changing his tune a little bit now. And frankly, I will say he doesn't sound like somebody who just started to understand crypto. He did sound like he knows what he's talking about a bit.
He does, definitely.
Warren Davidson, I don't know where these people are from. Byron Donalds, Ted Budd, I think he's North Carolina because he just ran for something there. Darren Soto, Jake Auchincloss, Josh Gottheimer, and Richie Torres, pretty much split between Republicans and Democrats. So, a lot of times the elites are working together, as we have found over the years. But yeah, so read into that what you will, but those are the 8 that did try to stop the investigation into FTX. Are there any highlights that you've seen also? I mean, again, there's been so many clips kind of floating around. You mentioned Kevin O'Leary a minute ago. He is becoming, I don't even know what to call him at this point, but like the cringe level that I get whenever I hear him speak is now SBF level. I mean, it's just,
yeah.
I don't even know what to say about the guy. And sometimes I feel like when there are people that are like objectively more successful in life than I am, I just kind of defer, I think like, okay, who am I to criticize these people? But this guy, I just don't understand at this point. I mean, he clearly was in bed, not literally, I don't think, with SBF and this crew.
Maybe Caroline.
Maybe Caroline. I don't know. But yeah, don't go spreading rumors around. But yeah, I don't know. This guy just continues. So what you just said a minute ago, he literally, I guess it was today or yesterday, but while speaking at this hearing, in no uncertain terms, and I wish I could just play the audio, but it wouldn't be very good quality on here. Just said that he 100% believes, and that everybody needs to understand, that the FTX situation was a total takedown by CZ and Binance to take down FTX.
I don't buy that for a second.
Not at all. Now you can, give me your analysis of his framing of that, how he's even getting there. I mean, he's clearly getting there trying to like cover his own ass, but what do you make of this?
Well, I think there's more to that backstory as well. So I don't know if you know it or not. Kevin O'Leary has his own Canadian exchange, who was partnering with FTX as well. So they were doing some side deals, whatever they had going on in the background. When CZ came out and basically this whole thing started, I think he said he was going to sell his FTT tokens that he had. He didn't,
right.
He was going to liquidate them. And when he said that, that's when the fear of God got put into those guys, because they knew they probably didn't have the backing for it. And so that's what started the bank run. He talked about buying the exchange. He said he looked over the books and then he changed his mind, which added more fuel to the fire. But I don't think it was CZ's fault. I think he
would have happened anyway.
Well, it would have happened anyway, sooner or later. I think he just kind of made people aware of what was going on. I don't know that he took them down. Now, to Kevin O'Leary's point, he is the only, well, not the only, Coinbase is still there, Kraken's still there, Gemini is still there, but Binance is a major player. So when he did say they're one of the only and basically have a monopoly, it's not quite accurate, but I'm sure CZ's business will pick up because of it.
Right.
And then you see the bank run on Binance today. They had like $3 billion net withdrawals. I think they had would they have 8 billion come out, 5 billion went in. So yeah, a total of a net $3 billion bank run that they had to stop withdrawals on this morning until the banks in New York opened, or that was the excuse that they gave. And then at that point, they did open the withdrawals back up. So, I mean, it looks like that was, possibly true. But still, I don't think that CZ really had anything to do with their downfall. I think they had everything to do with their own downfall. They were clearly responsible for, commingling funds and having deposits go straight to Alameda instead of FTX. And, again, we've talked about this before. It was all derivatives. So there was no real coins. It was all spot. I mean, or not spot, but, they were derivative trading. So it wasn't even real to begin with.
Right.
So, yeah, that's where we stand. And, there's a long way to go. There's a lot more to come out. We'll see how it plays out. And I'm sure there'll be clips for days. I don't know how long this is going to last as far as hearing wise, but I'm sure it'll get more interesting before it's over.
Yeah. From some of the, maybe more sensible people in the room. I mean, you never really know everything that's going on behind closed doors, but talking earlier about, man, I keep forgetting these people's names. Yeah. Tom Emmer. He did and again, we mentioned it a moment ago, it does seem that he actually understands, decentralized finance, crypto. I mean, it seems like he actually does, but, when speaking, I guess it was from today to, what's the guy's name that, is the CEO that's representing FTX? Is it Ray? What is his last name?
Ray something. I forget what his last name is. I can probably find it.
I think his last name is Ray. I'm trying to read it there, but I can't. But anyway, Tom Emmer basically, summed up and stated what everybody does need to know, that is looking at this situation from afar, and something that we obviously have known this situation is all along, and that's that this has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. This has to do with people that, created an entity that was obviously corrupt for their own gain, to take other people's assets. You know, it's a story this is old as time. I mean, this is something that has happened in legacy finance year in and year out for decades on end, you know. So and that's what Tom Emmer was really summing up, is it really doesn't have to do with crypto or decentralization. This was not decentralization, obviously. You know, I mean, it's
And there was another one too, Loomis, I think Cynthia Loomis.
Yeah, Cynthia Loomis. Yeah, she's always been great in terms of crypto.
Yeah, you know, she made a comment to say, guys, remember, it's not cryptocurrency that is under fire here. It is the corruptness of the centralized entities. So that was nice to hear, refreshing. It's good to hear some people with some common sense that kind of know what's going on, to pivot back when things may get out of line. So
yes, it is always refreshing to hear that, especially from government entities like this, just because it's so rare that any of them do actually understand it. And it's just really important, you know, these are definitely wins. I mean, like when you start to see more and more folks in government actually expressing that they understand what the purpose of crypto is and talking about it as clearly as Tom Emmer and Cynthia Loomis did today. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a positive sign. So